Well, hello everyone. Hello. It's the holiday season. It's Prep Sports Plus, presented by the Southeast Iowa Union, the only show that will never sell out to the big streaming services.
We
Uh,
are we are in a bid to buy Warner Brothers though. We are putting our bid in.
we're gonna buy them and own them. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's gonna be every Brothers production is gonna be Jack doing the. That's all, folks. I guess that's at the end.
That's
Porky
all,
Pig.
folks. Bum,
Underrated
bum, bum,
cartoon
bum,
Porky Pig.
bum, bum.
Porky
That's all,
Pig.
folks.
I've been watching Animaniacs a lot because I got a child that is interested in learning. So we did the presidents the other day. We did the countries.
Oh,
Animaniacs is awesome. Shout out to all the stupid streaming services, by the way. I'm pretty sure you can't even watch Animaniacs
dang.
streaming services. We're powered, as always, by the one, the only Fairway food stores.
The
And that
cornucopia of corn.
the Fairway food stores is the Rome of roast beef
Ooh,
without all the problems that Rome had.
the
Where'd you be
Prague
going today?
of processed foods.
Ooh, it is straight up the Constantinople of
Caramel.
caramel. That's right, caramel apples. My wife judges me for how much caramel goes into my every caramel apple. I do sliced up apples so I can be healthy, and she's like, the amount of caramel you have on the apple makes it a not healthy snack. You're not. It's not even healthy anymore when you have that much
Offsets
caramel.
it.
It's ridiculous. We're gonna talk a little hoops, a little bowling, a little bit of wrestling. A lot of stuff has got snowed out. And in fact, this weekend, if it wasn't for the lovely Friday night basketball slate that we had, everything was just getting torched by the snow, including my car, which I just had to pay like $450 to get fixed. Um, but we're gonna talk a little hoops. We're gonna talk a little basketball. And what's that? How about the Highway 1 rivalry in Fairfield, Iowa? The Demons and the Trojans. Jack Knowlton was on hand. Jack, tell me how this historic basketball rivalry went on Friday night.
Yeah, one of the best. They say Lakers, Celtics, you've got your college basketball rivalries, but nothing compares to Highway 1 and Fairfield and Washington. Yeah, it was down in Fairfield. It was a Demons Road sweep. First of all, great atmosphere at Fairfield. I love that they do the pep band. They've got a great pep band at Fairfield. They make it a lot of fun to watch a game down there. That said, Demons unfazed. They swept Fairfield. The girls team won 53 to 29. The boys team winning 57 to 39. And the performance of the night it came at the very beginning of all of the festivities in Fairfield because it was Adeline Long for Washington. She had 21 points in the first half. Didn't score at all in the second half. Didn't need to, frankly. Sat for most of the fourth quarter, which I think Colin Mulford, given some of the injury scares that Washington's had early in the season with Adeline Long, with Oakley Sabaski getting hurt, and they're both fortunately back. It's not long-term things, but I think he was grateful to be able to rest them. They were able to do that in the second half. But yeah, Adeline Long, 21 points. She made 5 threes. She scored the first 8 points for Washington. She made 3 3-pointers. All of them were from kind of the left wing of the court. She was just kind of left wide open. I asked her, she actually said mostly she prefers the right wing to shoot threes from, but they were just kind of leaving her wide open out there. She was hitting threes. I talked to Fairfield's coach after the game, and he kind of said it was Coach Wittenberg, kind of said, yeah, it's hard to play defense when they're shooting them from 3 feet behind the 3-point line, and that's kind of what Adeline Long was doing. But she was all of Washington's offense, had a super good game on the girls' side.
She's just straight up built different. She's got advanced skills, so when she gets going, it's trouble for especially just with her, the Mount Pleasant, Fairfield have their positives, but they don't quite have that type of basketball skill to guard a kid like that. And so I'm glad that she turned out to be healthy from that scare earlier, because she can be dangerous as the year goes on.
Yeah, really good on the offensive glass again to Washington. That's kind of emerging as like a trend when they win games. They had 16 offensive rebounds. That was almost half of their total of 40. Leighton Messenger's been kind of the leader down there on the glass for them this year. And then, yeah, just kind of cruised, really comfortable win for Washington. And then on the boys' side, they got their first SEC win too. Like I said, it was 57 to 39. They were pretty comfortable. All game long. Drew Conrad, 19 points. Nick Stone kind of got going from three. He had 17. He made 3 threes. The kind of difference, it's the cliche coaches always talk about, that kind of middle eight of the game. And that's what Washington won. They went on a 20-2 run in the 4 minutes of the end of the first half and the 4 minutes in the start of the second half. And the game was pretty much over from there. So a good game. Rajon Ross, 7 points. Tate Griner had 6. He's been a good bench guy for them, kind of a 3-point shooter. For Fairfield, a few positives. They were pretty candid after the game. I talked to Nathan Perkins, their coach, and kind of said, they have a lot of work to do. They've looked good in practice, just kind of have to put it together on the court. Didn't really love their defensive effort, but they did have 14 from Ethan Biscard. Eli Zielman had one of his best games of the season. He had 10 points and 10 rebounds, was kind of dominating. Washington doesn't have a ton of size, and he's pretty lanky down there and tall, made them pay, had a couple of dunks in the game. So some silver lining on the boys' side for Fairfield. And I should mention on the girls' side too, Elise Setterstrom, they kind of got her going a little bit late in the game, but she did end with 11 points. So she had a nice game for Fairfield. And then who was there? Oh, Emma Metcalf off the bench, 6 points and 4 steals. So some things to build on the girls and boys side for Fairfield, but it was all Washington in the Highway 1 rivalry, Andy.
A demon sweep, and Washington plays Mount Pleasant in their next SEC thing. So Washington's got that thing where they got the 2 chief rivals back to back. And I don't know, the dog. I got the headphones in. The dog, the barking is probably less wild right now. But speaking of the Panthers, they were at home against the Bloodhounds on Friday night in SEC action. First, we'll start with the positives, because in the boys' game, Mount Pleasant, who's been a little bit victimized by the schedule, playing at the 2 Burlington teams, playing Cedar Rapids, Washington. They finally got a team that they could get things going against. They ended up winning this 58-45, which probably was almost a disappointment in the score after the first 8 minutes, because it was all Mount Pleasant early, 17-5 in the first quarter, and then Fort Madison just started to chip away. Mount Pleasant has had a really tough time with slowing down the best scoring guard of whoever they're playing against. This time it was Nolan Guzman, a very talented guard for Fort Madison. While nobody else could do anything for Fort Madison, he was going off 26 points. Their second leading scorer had 6 points. So it'd be like you keep getting to these parts of the game where it's like, all right, this is when it's going to absolutely bust open, like be over early, and then he would just string together some big shots. So he was doing a lot for them. Fort Madison, much like Mount Pleasant, isn't totally healthy right now, especially in the inside, just like Mount Pleasant. And so it was a game that Isaiah Lang kind of ended up in the vacuum of not a lot of big kids down low, and he got his 18 points and 16 rebounds. Aiden Humble had a great game, 5 3-pointers for 19 points. And Keegan Heaton had 10 points and 5 rebounds. He also had a couple of he had maybe, I'd say, 1.75 dunks. I wouldn't give him two full on dunks. One of them he kind of let go of early, but they were on back-to-back possessions, so he kind of helped push away from Fort Madison at the end there. So Mount Pleasant gets a conference win to move to a 1-1 in the conference, and there are a lot of 1-1 teams now in the conference, because Fort Madison is now 1-1, and Fairfield is now 1-1. In fact, Washington is now 1-1. So how does that work out mathematically? That shouldn't
Uh,
be right. Oh, Fort Madison is 0-2. That's why.
yeah.
There we go. That makes sense. I was going to say because I know that Keokuk 2-0 and Burlington 1-1. So everybody's 1-1 except Burlington and Fort Madison on the boys' side. Now on the girls' side, uh, Fort Madison has been a big time bugaboo for the Mount Pleasant girls basketball team. There's something about the two styles that does not go Mount Pleasant's way. And once again, it does not go Mount Pleasant's way as Panthers lose this one 52-30. And this is the opposite. The final score in this actually looks better than what it was early because Mount Pleasant actually outscored Fort Madison in the second half. And if you're a mathematician out there, you know that means the first half must have went very poorly. And Mount Pleasant's one big strength is their speed and that they can score and then press and try and cause chaos. But if you don't score, that quite doesn't happen. And so there's a lid on the rim in the first half. They scored 7 points, Mount Pleasant did. We actually had a football score, 35-7 at halftime. Fort Madison was awesome on the boards. They're a very tough defensive team. They're a team that doesn't rely too much on one or two players. They got a lot of kids that can get in there and battle. And looked a lot better, as I said, in the second half for the Panthers, but they didn't have any kids that scored more than 5 points. Kinley White, Haley Lightoff, and Avery Fedler, 5 points apiece. But a really tough one for the Mount Pleasant girls. And then Mount Pleasant was swept at Benton on Monday as well. Girls game was 66-28. I think Benton girls, they play kind of in that conference where I think they only lost to Solon by 10. They play in that they were 0-4 coming in, but they play in that conference where it's like, oh, these teams are real good. Mid-pro will play against some of those teams.
Yeah, shut out the WAMAC, and then they play the River Valley teams.
Yeah, so that's a really tough spot. And then Mount Pleasant boys had a close for most of the game. They actually were leading after the first quarter, but Benton ended up winning this one 70-47. They really ran away late with that one. And so now Mount Pleasant looks to their road game at Washington in the rivalry without a highway. Need to build a highway with that just goes straight across everyone. We'll use eminent domain to take out a few cornfields.
I'll add too. I mean, Washington going into that game, the boys and girls both swept Grinnell. Grinnell is not very good. Washington kind of cruised in that one. The boys won by 12. The girls team won, or was it? I had it up. 53-41. And then the boys did lose to Oskaloosa. So that's their results heading into Friday.
And to add one more thing, it's double revenge night on Friday night at Washington. Not really revenge, but Washington girls head coach Colin Mulford has his first game against his former team, Mount Pleasant. Now it'd been more fun in that sense that it would be in Mount Pleasant, but still kind of fun that they're going at it. And then in the boys game, Jackson Hoyle, an old teammate of Colin Mulford's with Mount Pleasant, was with Washington as an assistant coach. But so there's the basketball teams between those two towns they trade back and forth with coaches and stuff like that. So that'll be fun. Jack's first edition of the basketball rivalry, which usually especially on the boys' side, creates some really memorable games. And then Fairfield, where I will be, they play against Keokuk. So we'll see if Eli Zellman can just try and jump over Jackson Clark, because that might be the only thing he can do with that kid. I saw him dominate Burlington the other day, so that should be an interesting matchup both ways. And something else that should be interesting, Jack, is the B block of this show, which is coming up after these commercials. We're going to talk about some small school hoops. Jack and I were both on the scene last night, so don't you go anywhere, or Santa Claus will bring you only coal. You'll be just like Mayor Humdinger. We'll be back.
Introducing Hy-Vee Market Grill, where every meal is a delight. Start your day with our mouthwatering breakfast options and savor flavorful lunches with friends and family. Cap off your day with our delectable dinners. Hy-Vee Market Grill, where every moment is delicious.
The Connie and Amanda team is dedicated to giving back to our community by actively engaging with our clients, businesses, and the public. When it comes to helping you find your next home, investment, or commercial space, the Connie and Amanda team is here for you.
At WCHC, our goal is to take great care of our patients and our staff.
We are able to approach you, take care of your issues, but also give you a path, as far as referrals or treating you right then and there.
Our role in the community is taking care of something that matters to everyone. It's their family and their health.
More than you expect for your health care.
Welcome, friends, family, watchers, readers, watchers, friends.
Oh, good friends.
Is that
I don't know what that's from. It's like a meme somewhere.
I almost felt like Frosty the Snowman. Frosty the Snowman. We're gonna talk a little small school basketball, and we can't do it without mentioning that our sponsor. Do you guys see these businesses? You ever see these businesses and be like, man, I seem to be seeing them a lot? It's because you're a fan of Pro Sports Plus. They've been with us forever. Shout out to all of our local businesses, all local. You don't see our ads being like clickbait ads, like some of, I don't want to say it, but there's some
we do not use AI in our ads.
We sure don't. We don't use AI in anything.
No.
Unless AI stands for Andy Intelligence or JK. I guess that doesn't really work with your name at all. We're going to talk a little small school hoops. How about a little ladies first? And actually, we're going to do both the Waco Hillcrest games, but how about Waco versus Hillcrest ladies, where the Waco Warriors, who had I think 3 close losses leading up to the Hillcrest game, finally gets off the snide with a 45-19 win over Hillcrest. Waco ran away with this. It was in the first quarter and the fourth quarter, Waco dominated, but in the middle quarters, it was a pretty close one. 13-4 after the first 8 minutes. Hillcrest was able to grind away, cut it down to as little as 6 or 7 points, but it was a 10-point game, halftime 10-point game after the third quarter, and then all Waco in the fourth. Drew Graber had a great game, 13 points. For Waco. Brenna Graber had 9, came on kind of late there, and Courtney Waterhouse had 8, a couple of 3-pointers. For Hillcrest, the Hillcrest just couldn't get anything going offensively. Naiva Helmuth was the one positive. She got inside for some big inside buckets, had 10 points, but other than that, the rest of the team only combined for 9. So Waco's defense looked really, really good. It was good for Waco to get a win because that's a team that has legitimate talent. They just hadn't gotten a win. I covered them one other time when they played Wapello. That was a really close loss. So Waco gets the win in the girls game. And then in the boys game, a battle with the Super Conference North lead on the line. And it was the Hillcrest Academy Ravens, 55-44. They actually had to come back in this one. Waco led by 1 point at halftime. Hillcrest Academy's inside game. So Cale Bailey is already very tough, and he scored, I think, 26 in the game before this. Waco held him to 12 points. But Gibson Scott, who just a sophomore, he had a great game. He was coming in averaging 10. I don't know. I got to look up how many rebounds he had, but he had 17 points. Seemed like he had a ton of rebounds. And with those two down low, you have 2 of the best rebounders, 2 of the best inside scorers. I thought that Gibson Scott had a great game because they played kind of 4 out with Bailey inside, and the way he was able to just get to the rim and score, not settle for outside shots,
oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. You have the rebound total?
I sure do. Wait. No, I don't. No.
Oh my goodness. Did you have his total rebounds? And
so I had his total rebounds on the season, but I had clicked on the game. I was trying to help you out and get the rebound total, and it was this season, and it's at 23, and I was like, he had 23 rebounds.
Yeah, I don't think he had 23, but I would estimate he probably had double digits for sure. And just the way that he's springy and lanky, and Kale Bailey is very lanky. So I mean, defensively too, it's like you drive inside to get to the hoop. It's like you have to float it up there or something because it's getting swatted with those two. So and then Rowan Miller. So Waco did a great job stifling the Hillcrest guards for the most part, and at the end, Rowan Miller came to play. He ended up with 12, and that was really because Waco had it down to 5 late, and they even had it down to 5 with the ball and had a couple of 3-pointers that just rattled out. And Waco just had a nice balanced attack. 7 kids scored for Waco. So the North Division is going to be really, really fun this year. Those top 5-6 teams are all very, very close to each other. So we're going to have some more of these. But right now, it's Hillcrest Academy in the lead. And Jack, you went to a marquee night in the South Iowa Cedar League in beautiful Keota. How did it go?
Yes, some sickle action. And I went with the intrigue. Went to Keota. They were playing Lynnville-Sully in a doubleheader in a conference game, and went kind of with the intrigue of Keota. They came in, they're 6-0 to start the year, got a big win over Sigourney, and beat Highland in the first game of the season, which was a really impressive kind of statement win. Highland hasn't lost since. And they were playing Lynnville-Sully, a team ranked number 6 in the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union rankings in 1A. So a really good team on the girls' side. And, the game that kind of ended up stealing the show was actually the boys' game a little bit later on. It was a 10-point win for Lynnville-Sully, but they were up double digits at halftime. Keota managed to come back. They brought it all the way back to 2. Really, really good performance. So I'm kind of starting there, I guess, with the boys team. They looked just really impressive in the second half. They threw a 2-3 zone kind of at Lynnville-Sully, totally flummoxed them. They were kind of all over the place with that on defense. I think it was 5 threes in the first half for Lynnville-Sully, and then they didn't make a single one. Keota kind of trimmed the lead all the way down. I talked to Coach Stout afterward and kind of said, they're dealing with some injuries. They kind of have a thin team. It's sort of grim over there for Keota on the boys' side, and they fought really, really well. They played a super good game against a good Lynnville-Sully team who had 9 guys above 6 feet. Andy, they were a tall team. But Keota battled, credit to them. They ended up losing by 10. You know how it goes in garbage time. They were chucking up threes and Lynnville-Sully was making their free throws. But it was a lot closer than even that score kind of reflects. So credit to the boys team. They played really, really well. I forgot to pull up some stats. They had 3 players in double figures, did well in the rebounding defensively. And then on the girls' side, tough game for them. Number 6, Lynnville-Sully looked like it. It was actually pretty close after the first quarter. It was 21-12, but kind of felt closer than that was. There were a ton of foul calls in this game. Lot of fouls that kind of slowed the game down, kind of helped out. Lynnville-Sully took advantage of that, established kind of a presence inside. They're an awesome 3-point shooting team. They don't take a ton of them, but they make pretty much all of them when they do take them. I think they were leading 1A or up there in 1A in 3-point shooting coming into this game. Cameron Hafley scored 14 points. She could have scored double that. Had a lot of layups. She was driving through traffic, got a lot of contact, and it was just so many layups she was throwing up at the rim and just kind of rolled off the rim and missed. They weren't bad looks, just weren't going in. Emily Conger had a really nice game. She had 7 points and a bunch of rebounds. I'll have to look at what the total ended up being, but she was trying her best against a good team, a good interior team in Lynnville-Sully. But they came up empty, ended up getting kind of blown out there in the second half, lost 69-41. I think I mentioned the boys game was 57-47. So kind of a sweep, but I talked to Jeff Sprouse, their coach for Keota, and his message kind of like, are you going to let this define your season, or are you going to go respond against another ranked team in Montezuma who they play next for both the boys and girls? So still an opportunity for Keota to kind of get a marquee win this week if they want to. And there are definitely signs that this is going to be a team that sticks around in a good a good sickle league this year. And yeah, I was still impressed in glimpses for Keota despite a big loss, but Lynnville-Sully is a good team.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see on the girls' side. I think there's definitely some separation this year in those top teams, and with the fact that Keota is now beaten Highland by double digits and lost Lynnville-Sully by double digits. If they do scoot those teams together in the postseason, you wonder if we're getting near a situation where Lynnville-Sully is going to be the top seeded team with teams like Highland and Keota in 1A seated below them. So we got a little bit before that comes to fruition. But those are the games that we were at. We're gonna take you through some scores. My dog. They're getting the trash and.
I can run through the girls' scores
look
first.
Look at that. What a bozo. He was looking away and he didn't hear the trash. Like he was watching out the window and then he was looking away to like look at the Christmas tree and the trash people were directly behind him getting our trash. And I was like, he's not even gonna notice, is he? Anyway, sorry, I got distracted right there. Yeah, you go through girls and then I got some boys, small school scores from last night. So how the girls did, Jack?
Yeah, Mid Prairie has continued to roll. They only have one loss in the year. They beat Wilton last night, 72 to 24. Absolutely blew them out on the road. The other scores in the SEISC, Pekin lost to Lone Tree 53-36. You were at the Hillcrest WACO game, of course. Highland destroyed Wapello 53-38. They continue to kind of separate themselves along with Mid Prairie and Keota. Columbus and Winfield Mount Union played in an all area game. Columbus won that 54-30. And then in the South, New London lost to Central Lee 58-25. And actually, Holy Trinity Catholic and VBC score not reported. We'll have to find that one and track it down. And then Cardinal lost to Albia 55-41 in some SCC action. And I mentioned the Keota Lynnville-Sully game.
Dang it, Cardinal is closer than it seems to those top SCC teams because Albia is definitely a team that could win the conference, one of the better teams, and that's another less than 15-point loss for the Comets. On the boys' side, breaking news. That's breaking news. Highland Huskies got a win last night. They played at Wapello. They had been flirting with that first North Division win. You knew that they were, whenever we say that, like, oh, there's a lot of North Division teams close together, they've been on that rung of they haven't quite got there yet with the other ones, and they do it last night, 45-42. Congratulations to the Highland boys for getting on the winner's board there. Pekin all over Lone Tree last night, 72-37. And Winfield Mount Union looked actually they double up Columbus 56-27. Those are your Super North scores. In the Super South, we do have a couple scores. New London couldn't get it done at Central Lee. Central Lee boys really tough this year, 58-31. And the Van Buren County Warriors fall to the Holy Trinity Catholic Crusaders, 70-34. A little separation still there in the South Division boys. That might be the two best teams. So they were not quite. I was gonna say they were neighbors last night, but Van Buren was playing at home. And then in the River Valley South, Mid Prairie pulls it out at Wilton. That is a team they've had trouble with in boys basketball. 60-56. Mid Prairie winners. Strong River Valley win for the Golden Hawks. So
had trouble with football too. That was a 1-point game on the gridiron.
Yeah. They I looked through their, I don't know, something about Wilton because Mid Prairie has a pretty good record usually against their boys basketball foes in the area, and this team, I don't know, nice little battle there. So good job, Highland. I knew Highland was going to get that. You could tell they were like, man, they're a lot closer than they used to be in boys basketball. So I need to go watch back that because three point game. I need to see if there's any chaos at the end I think Wapello streams theirs on Huddle. And why don't you cuddle up with a blanket, get yourself some hot chocolate from Fairway Food Stores, and stay tuned for the C Block, where a lot of stuff got snowed out. But I'm going to tell you how the bowling battle, the bowling war on 34 took place last night. So you cannot miss this. See you in a bit.
Attention Hy-Vee shoppers, introducing Hy-Vee Perks, your ticket to exclusive savings and rewards. Access exclusive perks, prices, earn gas discounts, and unlock special deals. All this for free. Join Hy-Vee Perks today and start saving.
At Seafirst Credit Union, we're all about making connections, like how we connect you to that dream vacation with a savings account designed to help get you on the flight there. Connect with Seafirst today and see why together is better.
Celebrate the season at the Mount Pleasant Festival of Lights. With over 180 dazzling light displays, it's the perfect holiday tradition for families, friends, and loved ones. Experience the magic from the comfort of your car, and on select nights, bring the kids to meet Santa himself. Don't miss this enchanting event that brings holiday spirit to life. For directions, dates, times, and ticket info, head to oldthreshers.com. The Mount Pleasant Festival of Lights, where holiday magic comes to life.
In the heart of rural Iowa, where community matters most, the connections we make are made to last. Meet KCTC, your hometown internet, phone, and TV provider. At KCTC, we're not just about technology, we're about people. Our dedicated team are your neighbors, committed to bringing you top-tier services right where you live. We believe in giving back to the community that raised us. Experience the power of a real connection with KCTC. Join us in building a stronger, more connected Southeast Iowa.
Welcome back, Prep Source Plus, powered by Fairway. Jack, you want to hear about some bowling?
I would love to hear about some bowling.
How about a straight-up nail-biter on Monday night at Flamingo Lanes? I started to do the fastest 3 minutes of sports voice for a second. Mount Pleasant girls beat Fairfield by 18 pins. 18 pins, 1924 to 1906. I'll tell you what. Those were some years. If you that was first to World War One won that one, 1924 to 1906. And on the boys' side, the Trojan boys 25-30 to 22-92. Less close. Those are future years right there. That's the future. These guys bowled into the future. The future. And so, well, yeah, little splits. We've got a lot of splits, no pun intended, on the bowling lanes lately. But there you go.
I feel like a little bit deflated in bowling now because Mitchell Zaglavsky has just set the tone in terms of like the best performance of the season. It literally can't be topped. Like it's just going to be like who can match him getting a 300.
You can't do more than 300. I guess since you do 2 games, you get 2 300s and get a 6.
That's true. You're right.
That would be the only thing you could do.
That would be crazy.
That's pretty much it. College football playoff starts this weekend, though. Jack, who's in your national championship? Who wins?
So, man, right. I've got Georgia as one of the teams. Part of that is kind of because I don't want to be boring and pick Ohio State to go back. So I'm going to pick Georgia over them in that semifinal. I really, really don't want to bet against Kirk Cignetti, but I also love Texas Tech. I think their defense is really good. I don't think they were Big 12 merchants. I think they can genuinely stop like pretty much anybody. So just to be fun, I'm going to go Georgia over Texas Tech. However, I will not be surprised at all if Indiana reaches the national championship. In the same vein, I won't be surprised if like Oregon beats Texas Tech. That kind of side of the bracket's way more chaotic to me.
It is.
Versus I feel like we're destined for Georgia, Ohio State in the like kind of other side of the bracket, the way I look at it.
That will be a wild one. I will give you my pick. I think it is going to be I think it's going to be Ohio State over Oregon.
I like it.
think that there will be a choking hazard. Indiana. I think Oregon's going to beat Indiana, and I think I'm going to conference honk that the teams that couldn't win the Big Ten won the national championship for the next 20 years, because that's what happened last year. Now it'll be 2 years in a row. So there you go. I'll probably tweet out something next August about how the Big Ten should get like 8 teams because of that if it happens. So that's all we got. Does Peter want to give his prediction? I know we only have like 1 minute.
I will do Ohio State over Texas Tech.
Oh, that would be a fun one. That would be fun. North versus South.
Mm-hmm.
Those are guarantees. All 3 of those are guaranteed to happen. So congratulations to the national champions, Ohio State and Georgia. We'll be back next week. Same time, same channel.